All right, everybody. Good morning. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're here on our Sunday morning tradition. And has continued on into our 15th year of putting it out there and getting that all set. By the way, we happen to have him. He is here. Let's bring him on.
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I don't want to get too appropriate, but you must feel real good every time you see that.
I'm over it now. By the way,
over it now.
Where
is
is
your buddy?
Huh?
Is he your buddy now?
No, he's an Eagles fan. Screw him. But I mean, where is your commitment to excellence here? By the way, where were you last week?
Where was it? I didn't feel good.
So I was wide awake, 8 o'clock, ready to roll. I had all my notes, I had all my research, had all this done, and all of a sudden you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cancel."
Yeah. It's called my show. I do what I want. I just kind of like you,
I know,
but more in the fact I did not feel well. We're all set. But hold on. That being said, of course, that's the name of the show here on a fine Easter morning. Happy Easter to everybody. I'm glad folks will be hippity hopping into the Couch Potato Sports Show, but we're going to start the show off here just really. Yes, some breaking news coming to you from the NFL. Okay. And it's local. I mean, it's right here in the Dallas, Texas area. And we got, where is it? Well, okay. I thought I uploaded it. Well, this sucks. Okay. Well, anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, Mr. Rice. His name is wait. How do I not have that in there yet? Well, anyway, Mr. Rice, his first name is skipping me, but his last name is Rice. Was involved. Hold on. We're not saying he was involved. His vehicle was involved in a crash a few hours ago. Last night, but it just broke a few hours ago. I know that's breaking news. I got it right here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. But I thought I had already uploaded this into the system. Give me 2 seconds, and I will try to get it there. But it has broke out, and not sure of the ins and outs of it. Heck, even the cops aren't really too privy about what's going on regarding that situation. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Sometimes it's really nice. It's easy to just jump on a bandwagon and say what happened, but this happened at 6:25 yesterday. And maybe this is it. And let me see if I could get this uploaded and get it set. There it is. All right. Sorry. So law enforcement officials of the Dallas Police Department and Dallas Morning News have reported that a vehicle that is believed to be registered or leased to Rice was involved in a crash in Northeast Dallas around 6:20 local time yesterday. So interestingly enough, that's what's on top of what's going on. This just broke a few hours ago. The Super Bowl champion. Yeah, say that again.
Do we know who's in the crash?
No, that the cops have not released any information whatsoever about that situation. So, but that is what's going on here early up on the show. And by the way, that guy's a badass. Just to let everybody know who he is, he's a badass. Made some big plays in the Super Bowl. Big part of that offense that's going from there. So again, we don't know if he was hurt. We don't know if he was involved. We don't know if he was driving. We don't know if someone else was driving. but that just came out on the ticker this morning a couple hours ago as I was getting set to come on the show. So just quick information out there. What, you had a loss for words today?
No, I'm trying to blur my screen too.
like I did. You figured it out. All right.
No, it's okay. I can't do it because it slows my computer down.
Gotcha. So, all right. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Yeah. Not sure whether it will end up happening, but that will be a loss for them if for some reason they do not get Rice back or something goes on. We'll keep an eye on that just as on the top of the hour. Now, back to what you were saying, your work. What was the work that you did? Your research. Enlighten us on your research that you did last
Well,
week.
it's too late now, sir. I mean, I had it all set
It's
to go last week.
conveniently. I knew he was going to say it. I don't know you at all, Podfather.
Look, what happened a week ago has already changed, so it don't really matter, right? So, yeah. But now we're,
Gotcha.
we are now in the beginnings of baseball. So excited. So excited.
Got it. All right.
Love this time
Rangers undefeated now, right? Still, right?
They beat the living hell out of the Cubs last night.
So undefeated so far this season for the Texas Rangers.
2 down, 162 to go.
Yeah, they'll not see if they can run the table.
The road to repeat. They're running it back.
It's one of those crazy things. So,
but you know what? It was so cool to finally live in this. Well, I don't live there anymore, but I mean, to finally come from a city that says you're world champion Texas Rangers. Like I can never have said that any time in my life ever.
No, because a lot of times they were done by April, May. They were done by June. For like 20 years, they were done by June.
Yeah, and we still happen this year, but I mean, it's just so cool that Dallas is one of the few cities that all 4 major sports have won the championship.
Yeah,
and the Rangers being the latest. I think it's what Rangers, Mavericks, Stars, and then Cowboys. So what we talk about here hasn't won a Super Bowl in 28 years. So it's about 2 lifetimes for some people.
Oh yeah. I feel almost sorry for some folks in the Dallas area for that to happen.
But it's funny. No one ever talks about, say, the Cleveland Browns. They have never won a Super Bowl. Never even been.
Right.
I mean, last year they never. Until last year, they kind of forgot the choice never really been. I mean, if you want to get right down to it, the Washington, whatever they want to call themselves, the last time they went to a Super Bowl was right before the Dallas had their 3 out of 4 year dynasty.
Yeah.
So,
correct.
I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that have had it worse than Dallas. Just that Dallas is so prolific or they're the team that everybody talks about. That's why they haven't won yet. Kind of like the Lakers. What the Lakers have never won. I mean, hell, the Yankees had that in the 80s. They didn't win nothing in the 80s, and all of a sudden they came alive in the 90s. So,
right. Well, that's because there was a different attitude in the 90s with the Yankee ownership where they would buy. Basically, if you want to talk, buying champion. In other words, spending whatever they needed to spend in order to get the guys they needed to get in order to get those championships.
Which, by the way, it's always funny. Every year it never fails. When there is an MLB prediction for the season, they always find a way to put the Yankees in the World Series.
Of
no matter what, they always
just like the Dallas Cowboys right now. They're in the running for the Super Bowl already. So
they are not in the running. I'm a fan, but they are not in the running at all. So
well, you as well as an NFL guru on ESPN believes the same thing. Dan Orlovsky thinks that they are going to regress this year. Now, again, he's on ESPN. He is not one that he's about one of only anybody who's ever that is coming out right now and saying that. Because normally, and it will start soon, the Dallas Cowboys, where they get looking, they are definitely going to be in the AFC or the NFC Championship game. But right now, we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys not even getting out of the second round of the playoffs, and that's where the steps need to be taken in order for changes to happen. So Jerry goes ahead and decides that he's going to quote unquote honor a contract, keep Mike McCarthy. I'm still one of the believers that they should have got rid of this guy, and I know, it's like starting afresh, it's starting anew. I get it, and he wants to see right now, give him one more shot because they don't have to start over. But looking at the Dallas Cowboys roster right now, the lack of movement in free agency, still have to figure out the Dak situation and what they're going to pay him. There's lots of things to talk about as far as that is concerned
Well,
right now
yeah,
for the
and that's
Dallas
something,
Cowboys.
something I was going to talk about last week was, Dallas historically has never really been big on free agency because when they have, they missed. I mean, the Greg Hardy
Mm-hmm.
situation back in the day, the Brandon what's his name, Brandon Carr back in the day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now you look at what we got currently with Brandon Cooks and oh, there's one so names those we got those guys in trades. They weren't free
Right.
agency picks, so you
Right.
can't sit there and go, well, they spent a lot of money on that. So Dallas has been really historically, and I was surprised when I read this. I mean, hell, what was it? They picked up Gerald McCoy years ago, and he didn't make it to
I
August.
remember that.
Yeah, so a lot of times they shoot their wad in the free agency market to be taken for a loss on that because now you're paying a contract of a
That's
guy who,
because they don't do their homework. Come on,
yeah,
Podfather.
well,
This is
yeah,
a football team that is traditionally hasn't done their homework,
well,
but still living off of the fact they didn't draft Randy Moss when they had the opportunity for
right.
it. And
Well,
they're
that's always going to bite them in the ass. Okay, that's always going to
yes.
bite them in. But here's the thing: that was yesterday. You can't do nothing about that yesterday.
Well, but that's the history of it, and then you got to go
Right,
by
it is.
history on what's going to happen.
Well, you do, but then but history can be changed. They haven't changed it. Now, the other thing they have really changed is how they draft players. Now, if it wasn't for that one day that they had to tackle Jerry to not draft what's his name from A&M and go for a center when they had to, and they ended up getting Zach Martin. I mean, that was 10 years ago. So they need to
Yeah.
really up their. I mean, and once again, they don't have a whole lot in the way of trade value right now to go on. So because I think they're only have 4 or 5 picks in draft this coming up draft. So
For the Cowboys, I think it's 5.
yeah, so 4 or 5, whatever it is, but definitely they won't be. I mean, unless they can make a splash and trade to get more picks, which how they do that.
Trading up is no, it's trading up. That's the to see what they can do in order if they're going to make a judge at it or a shot at it.
But then again, what's going to be available at 24? I think they are. I mean, if it's nothing that's worth a damn for them, they might trade out of it and pick up 2 or 3 other picks later on down the road.
Well, who do they shoot their wad on? I mean, obviously they need to go offensive line. They got to get the best offensive line out there. I mean, and they failed in this because they haven't been able to protect Dak Prescott enough. Now, you can get the retreads all you want all day long, but if you need to go out and get those guys that are going to be with your organization for 8-10 years and can be the anchor on their line like they used to. This is a team that went out and got their offensive linemen to protect Troy Aikman, and I'm telling you, not doing that has made this team digress farther back right now without taking care of the quarterback, and or think about this, opening up the holes for whatever running back that they might try to be doing. And I just read again what you were talking about 2 weeks ago. I don't know where you found out the information. Zeke Elliott is still an actual option. They're actually thinking about bringing this guy
as
back.
a backup, yeah. And
Yeah.
if this could possibly be Dak Prescott's last year as a quarterback, I think he would want to go out with his best friend in the backfield.
Were they best friends?
Zeke and Dak, oh yeah. I mean, they came in.
I didn't know that. I don't keep up with their love affair off the field.
Yeah, well, I mean, they came into the league together, the very same draft. They definitely grew together as the Dak Zeke combo that you had. But again, when Zeke fell off number wise, nobody cared, and
Right.
that's just that's just a sign of the times. And once again,
Nobody
that
cared. Are you sure
well,
about
well,
that?
well. I mean, nobody. I mean, okay, nobody paid attention when Zeke couldn't run for yardage because at the time Dak was throwing interceptions like crazy. So it was like well,
So the interceptions overshadowed how bad
yeah,
Zeke was playing. Is that what
yeah,
you're stating here?
yeah.
I don't know if I disagree or agree. More so as far as that is concerned, but I will say this: that you know um, anticipation of what Zeke was going to be able to do, and to
Mm-hmm.
be overshadowed by Dak's interceptions, yeah, finds it that is to me an excuse for him playing bad. And not holding them accountable to it. The focus is on Dak. Well,
Well, let me ask. Hey, well, let me ask you a question. What do you think about Jerry not extending Dak though right now?
what do I think about it?
Yes, I'm glad you're
I
listening to
think
the
he's
show.
going. I think he's going to do it because here's one thing that we all know about Jerry Jones: he does things in his own damn time. He does
Mm-hmm.
not care if it fits within someone else's schedule, and we've only seen that 100 times right now. It just throughout the years, and that being said, we're talking about Dak Prescott is going to be the one that realigns the quarterback number. I mean, we're already talking about close to 60 million if you believe some of the things that are floating around on what he could and could not get paid. I think realistically for the Cowboys, it should be 50. Dak Prescott thinks it's 55. So you need to look right in the middle of 52 and a half. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not resetting the quarterback number in reality. So that number would need to be about 55 based upon Aaron Rodgers with his 52 million and a couple and Patrick Mahomes on what he can possibly be making too. I don't know those numbers, but they're right in the 50s into in between 50 and 60. So Dak Prescott's going to set the line for the next quarterback on what they can get. And also think about this. He is setting that number with a precedent that he's not all that great. So
Yeah. Well,
what's
okay.
going to
Let's
happen when a good quarterback
right.
is going to be up for those
Well,
numbers?
let me ask you this. Let's say he has the same kind of year he had this past year. Okay, just had
Yeah,
good
pretty good
numbers,
year.
had pretty good year. Didn't win a Super Bowl, didn't get close, but once again, just he was in the mix. Does the line form to the left to pick him up,
Hmm.
or do we now see the fact that he was okay? He's been in this league. He's been beat up for a while. What are we getting out of him?
Hmm.
If Jerry didn't want to re-sign him, what are we missing? We know
Hmm.
how much Jerry loved him. I mean, does the line truly form to the left for him? Because he's not Tom Brady.
Right.
I mean, it ain't like the line formed to the left for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan went to Super Bowl. You know, so I know you can do that all you want, but he did go to the Super Bowl. He did lose it too, but still
Yeah,
wanted to.
and he died out in the fourth quarter, and we haven't seen him since.
Yeah,
Reality.
yeah. But I'm just saying, the line didn't form to the left for a guy like him who put up big numbers as a quarterback. Unfortunately, he played for Atlanta. So,
Right.
so my question is could the Saints possibly look at him and go, you know what, we got him, no problem. We're tired of the David Carr experiment, and we're going to move forward, or do like a team like say the Vikings, who who could be looking at that point,
Seattle.
the Commanders.
Well, the Commanders are taking that number two. They're going for their
That's
guy.
true. That's true. But
They're,
let's say they
they're going to
bring,
go for,
but
but but I get what you're saying is correct. There is a laundry list of a lot of people that would be, but is that laundry list going to be as long at $55 million? Hell no. And the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know what Jerry's thinking would be, but him sucking up a lot of that contract just to get rid of him, sort of like what you've seen with Russell Wilson going from the Broncos over to the Steelers. The Broncos are sucking up 50 million of that. I don't see the Dallas Cowboys doing that, and the reason why I say that is because Mike McCarthy is still the head coach of this football team, and he won't even cut a head coach of 2 million, never mind 55 million. So just the thinking of Jerry, you just never know. I mean, because he'll go in one ear, out the other, but what happens is that Jerry Jones in his brain, it's bubbling up a concoction of what is going to end up happening, and you don't know what the next piece of craziness is going to be coming out of it.
You remember Jerry's got a lot of interference in between those 2 ears of his, right? And it always sounds like
get off my lawn, kind of thing.
Certainly very positive, very
yes,
very. I'm gonna remake some.
I'm gonna be on the radio 3 times a week this year, not just 2. I mean, by the way, he's the only owner. Forget about once a week. He's on twice a week as the owner. No other owner in the NFL does it. I mean, so
but then also you got a station that does a fake Jerry. So the fake Jerry makes more sense than the real
let's just
Jerry.
say he gives them what they want. Everybody wants to hear, for some reason, wants to hear from Jerry Jones. I don't know why, but everybody wants to hear what Jerry Jones has to say.
Because we're waiting for the slip. We're waiting for the moment where he's like, we caught Jerry. He says something stupid. He says something stupid all the time. I mean, again, he finds a way to make the 3 Super Bowls that he won 28 years ago still relevant today.
Exactly. But okay. That being said, though, at least successfully doing that, because he's all about the marketing. Everybody knows that. And he has done, I'm just going to say it. There's no better marketer in ever. Not just the NFL. He took a team. How much did he pay for the team? Was it 16 million?
Not much.
I think it was 16 million.
Less than 20 million, yeah. And he made a $1 billion franchise.
10 billion right now. If he sold the Dallas Cowboys, he could get in between 10 and 15 billion dollars for this football team, and someone will buy it.
Well,
so
think about this. Hey, think about this. That venue alone,
right?
Just AT&T Stadium, because I know there's stuff that goes on the Star, but that thing has held 2 WrestleManias. It has held several different concerts. It's held the NCAA basketball tournament. It's it's in the running to hold the Olympics if it ever comes to town. It's held the Super Bowl, not one by the Cowboys, but it's held Super Bowl. I mean, it's hold a lot of major events, and it's going to hold
It's going to hold this one. It's going to hurt. Oh, I got the wrong one. I'm sorry. I got the wrong one. But Tyson and Jake Paul, that is going to be something that is going to be held at AT&T Stadium. So, or is it still called AT&T Stadium, or is it called something else?
I call it the Death Star.
I thought it was called something else. I could have sworn.
Sonny, quit talking. I call it the Death Star.
No. Okay. Well, no. You call it the Death Star. And Darth Vader's over in Las Vegas, right? Looks like the Darth Vader.
First of all, look at Jerry Jones. He looks like the Emperor. Put a robe on him, and he kind of talks like that, so you're going to have it. Hey, look. Hey, all I'm saying is this. Sonny, when you start talking, it's like a lawnmower.
Yeah, I know. And everybody and here's one of the things. I think I get it. That people listen to Jerry because he is the king of just letting something out of the bag. And everybody is waiting for whatever is going to be coming out of the bag. So, I don't know as far as that is concerned. So, but some people at Jerry Joe, maybe, maybe so. I mean, Jerry Joe needs to shut up and learn to censor himself. Yes, maybe so. Review Talk Live. Thanks for joining us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And I will tell you, and do you know who Amanda Rowe is? I think, no,
Yes,
they're
I
just
do.
watching. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
I know she is.
I thought you knew who that is. I held the monster truck. Yes, but yeah, it's over at Cherry World. So thanks for good morning. Thanks for joining us. Happy Easter, by the way, everybody who's given us a listen on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Now, Jerry Jones is a guy, okay, that doesn't lose except the Super Bowl. And so outside of that, you would think that he would be able to be a guy that could do just about anything. And by the way, I created a segment for you, and you went right into it. Okay, and here's I set this up just for you because you have a habit of I'm just saying so. Just as much as my brother said, the name of the show. That being said,
Hmm.
he said so. I just named the show. That being said, since he did, I brought that out for you. So yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah.
portion for Trey Mack.
Okay.
What is your take up on the 2024 Dallas Cowboys as they are trying to figure out what they're going to do to be competitive and try to figure out how to get back into the Super Bowl?
All right. Well, let's see. They've lost 6 free agents of a team that couldn't get out of the second round.
Four of them were pretty damn good.
They're okay. Yeah. Again, it's the war of attrition. When they got to the playoffs, they looked like they were spent. Um, I think. I
I
think.
agree.
I think
That's a
they.
good point.
I think they kind of got there and just they looked at the newspaper way too much and said, "Well, Green Bay doesn't have a chance. Green Bay's going with a quarterback that's relatively brand new. He's got to deal with our defense,
Hmm.
Dak's been on fire all year long. I think this will be a cakewalk, and it turned out to be the other way around. So I think it was a wake up call, and 6 players who went off the more money, they look at that and go, okay, well, they don't care enough to spend money on me, so I'm gone. And that's fine because that's every player on every team that goes off of free agency. They don't care
Sure.
about me. I'm gonna take my ass somewhere else. But how have they improved what they've lost? They haven't.
Yeah,
And you're not gonna do that in the draft. I'm sorry. The draft is set up for down the road, and maybe 30% of that might work.
exactly.
So
Because really the only position when you're going draft, okay, that has almost immediate impact are the offensive linemen. After
and
that, you got to develop those guys into being better in
very
order
very
for them to
few
be impactful.
very few 24th round or 24th pick in the drafts change the game. Very
Absolutely.
few. And yes,
That
I
and that's
know,
that's the reason why I'm not a quarterback guy. So
but this is why Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, was a unique story. Awesome, good for him.
exactly.
So that's all I said. Roll. They got close.
Congratulations.
They got closer than Dak did.
Congratulations,
As
right? No, or not Williams, but
as
the guy
as
down in
Amanda
Houston.
as Amanda Rose as
Suggest,
Amanda Rose sent me a
suggest.
message earlier. Even Taylor Swift got there before Dak did. So I mean,
There you go.
it is what it is.
It
But
is. All right, let's do this. Let me just quickly interrupt you because we got the man in the green room. He is the main co-host of this program. But I will say this: normally, in our past, whoa, there he is. Let me bring him in. Normally, in our past, it is well, why am I not getting Cuervo? Why am I getting a black screen on Cuervo? Is he froze? Looks like his head hasn't moved. Move your head there, Cuervo.
I see a black screen.
Yeah, I see a black. Well, no, I'm looking in the green room to see if he's moving in the green room. Looks like he might be a little frozen. So with the little freeze, which we probably need to let's see if there's anything. Nope.
I think we're
So
kind of from a little
with the
freezes
little
out here.
freeze, yeah, we're gonna kick him back out here real quick. He's gonna restart, I'm sure, and then he'll get back in. As far as that is concerned, but
There you go.
going back to what Amanda is talking about as far as to remain relevant, they are in the best division in order to do so. And I'm going to say this because I think this is something to think about. First of all, the Giants suck. So do the Commanders. But the difference with the Commanders is there is maybe a churning that's going on with the possibility of them improving. I look at the Giants, I don't see them improving. They still got Daniel Jones. That guy's a liability regardless of what it is. So then you got to look at the Eagles. And the Eagles are one of these interesting teams that, if you go back 2 years, you're going, wow, Super Bowl. Look at them. Look where they're going. And they lose to the Super Bowl. Now, I want you to go back and think about the losers of the Super Bowl. What did they always do the next year? By the way, go back into the archives. I predicted what the Eagles were going to be, and I was 100% right. Because history has a way of repeating itself when it comes to Super Bowl losers, which is they can't even get jump started. And even a jump isn't going to help them. And that's what ended up
Well,
happening.
then I'll
Plus,
be
there was an injury
excited.
to the quarterback and a lot of other injuries. And guys that were key to that Super Bowl run were lost in free agency. So,
Then I can't wait for this year when the Niners fall on their ass. That's be awesome. But
right.
I mean, I could very well happen. Yeah, they always do talk about the Cowboys because the Cowboys are the Lakers. The Cowboys are
Yes.
the Yankees. The Cowboys are always the team that you market the league after. What's up, Cuervo? But I will say this
Better?
though. Yeah, we can
Better.
hear.
Yes. You're not frozen.
Well, that's always good.
Yeah.
But
So.
the thing is that when the NFL tries so desperately to throw the Green Bay Packers in our face and then tells what the legacy of the NFL all came from Green Bay, that's all well and good. But
Right.
where'd the money come from?
Good point. Good point.
So
Now, Cuervo, we're just recently, I wanted to get his take. Looking at the NFC East and what we're kind of talking about what the Dallas Cowboys have to do with what's going on. And if you read some of the things coming out of ESPN from their quarterback guru, he's expecting them to digress this year, which any other media outlet says they're going to be in the Super Bowl like they always do. But talk about the Dallas Cowboys, what's going on with Dak Prescott and the actual division that they play in. Giants suck. Maybe the Commanders can be good based upon some of the additions that they added, and then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, who don't seem like the Philadelphia Eagles. It seemed like they were sick all year long. This is a really good division for a mediocre football team to get better based upon the teams that they're going to play 2 times a year within this division, and they might have a shot of making the playoffs. What they do in the playoffs is still going to be unknown. But what do you think about what's going on, Dallas Cowboys, within this division and how it's kind of shaping up right now?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the regular season, guys, I really don't see much changing when it comes to Dallas. I think they're going to win a lot of games, and I think they're going to do enough to compete for the division. But we all know that come playoff time, that's when we scratch our head and we try to figure out who the Dallas Cowboys are, because that's what they do. I mean, and I almost feel for the Potfather, because you have so much hope in the season, right? They're constantly winning 10, 11, 12 games a season, and then you're like, all right,
I have no hope. I have no hope. Okay. Because
I know
you
shouldn't, because
I know what the regular season is. Okay, I'm
But
aware.
he still feels bad for you, Podfather's way of saying.
Yeah, because to have a team loaded with talent like Dallas has, and for them to just blunder the playoffs year after year, I mean, it's like, at what point do you think to yourself, what needs to change? You got to really take a hard look.
Well, we know what needs to change. The problem is he ain't dead yet. That's the problem. I mean, because until Jerry Jones can no longer walk on this planet, he can
Right.
no longer think for himself and can no longer put things in motion to work things for his favor, this team's going to squander, and they're going to be the worst. They're going to be the biggest joke in the league because, again, how can the team that can't do anything be the biggest team to be talked about every freaking year? It
Right.
is the biggest mystery you have, but it's also because you have the biggest cheerleader as an owner. Very few owners are cheerleaders in their own right for their own team, but not to the level Jerry is. And to his detriment, you can only sit there and go, rah, this is going to be the best team ever, and you're 5-11 or whatever, right? So, and that's
Right.
happened time and time again. You get a new coach next year, okay? You get a new quarterback. You'll get a new whatever you want to change, front office wise, player wise. Where you're at now is where you'll be at then, because if you're lucky, because this team does not know how to get past its shadow, and the shadow is Jerry Jones. The shadow of Jerry Jones reigns supreme here in the DFW area because he likes to remind you what he did do. No matter how long ago that was, that's his calling card. You know, remember he took a 1-15 team and took him to the Super Bowl. Okay, well Jimmy Johnson was kind of there too. Yeah, but I put him in charge, so we made sure I was in charge. You know, again, he's always about taking the credit. Notice he never takes the blame for the bad seasons. He never takes, well, you know, apparently I didn't do that well in the way of scouting. I didn't do very well in the way of getting our coaches up. Or I didn't do anything to put us in a winning situation. Well, you're the owner. You're the money maker. What are you not doing? And because you don't change that, you take no responsibility for the losses, only responsibilities for the wins. That's why you're where you're at. You know, there's a lot of, every owner out there will fall on their ass. That's just the nature of the beast. They will fall on their ass a year, 2 years, figure out what needs to be changed, make that change. Hopefully it works out for them. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Jerry has been pretty much, all right, this needs to change. So let's go do this. Let's go pay the highest amount of money to go get this. And then you still get the same thing you got last year. And you go, well, clearly it's them. It's not me. I don't know what to make of that. So let's go after this. Let's go after this person. And he goes out and spends tons of money on players that are now middle of the road. You know? And then there's his owner, or not owner, there's his head coach sitting there with his job on the line saying, look, I did everything I could to coach this player. I did everything I could to get this person in the right spotlight to make it work. I need something else. And Jerry will sit there and go, I gave you all that. Why wasn't that enough? Well,
I get what he in that scenario. I would get what Jerry Jones is talking about because, you know, let's be honest. Jerry Jones is not afraid to open up the wallet when he deemed necessary. But the question is why is he not doing it as much as he used to do it? You're right, because they've been getting mediocre players. The good thing about that, though, is they've been getting a lot about that. You can say whatever you want about Cooks. I mean, they didn't spend any money on Cooks, and they got him better than what's been going on in their. He was almost their best wide receiver last year, outside of CeeDee Lamb.
Think about this though: how much money did they spend to keep Michael Gallup?
Yeah, exactly, and that's why. Isn't he gone now? Didn't they get rid of him?
I think another team signed him. I can't remember who, but
I can't remember who it was either. But
Titans, maybe.
Might have been. We'll look it up. You hit the Google search, and I'll hit this button right here. But a new logo there for you, Cuervo. That being said, a little bit of an update as far as what's going on with Rashid. Rashid Rice, involved in a major car accident down here in Dallas. This is where he lives. He lives over in North Richland Hills, and it was on the North-South Tollway where there was a major. Now it's coming out. It's a major accident. It's not a small thing, but they're still unclear about his connection within this. I am telling you right now, this is if the cops are searching for you, you're a suspect. There's something going on down here in Dallas as far as Rashid Rice and that involvement in that major car accident. So, really interesting news that's coming out of the Dallas area regarding the wide receiver out of Kansas City. Cuervo, I don't like to be the one to say things that aren't that haven't been confirmed. But when cops are actively looking for you, there's a problem. Your involvement is there. Shut up, Podfather. I see you over there giggling your ass off. But all have been said. This here, I'm gonna actively watch this as far as his involvement, and not just his involvement, but how this actually impacts, first of all, him and the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward as we're so early in the offseason.
By the way, Michael Gallup is still with the Cowboys. He'll be released in I think June 1st, I believe.
Okay. At release.
And the Ravens are talking to him right now.
Got it.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, Cuervo, just really quick, when you got a news thing coming out like this and you are the Super Bowl champions, first of all, that's the last thing you want to hear. Second of all, the impact that this guy has on the football field. He is a major player. Let's be honest. This guy, he makes a great amount of plays for this football team. Now having him on there, I'm going to be really interested to see where this goes, if it's really as serious as what the cops are trying to make it out to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends on is there anything that led up to the accident? And my fear is that, and I'm Trey, I know why you were making that look on your face, because for Sonny to not make an assumption, that's quite a surprise this morning.
Come on. Caleb Williams is a diva.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm glad you brought that up, because we could talk about that later. I got a lot to say about that. But anyway.
Interesting. We can talk about it.
My fear is that, there you go. Were the cops pursuing him before the accident? That's a good question, because if Sonny, if you don't want to make the assumption, I will. I have a feeling maybe he was under the influence, and that led to the accident. I don't know.
Well,
it was a Saturday night.
We're still not sure if he was in the car, though. We know it was the car that was released to him.
Who was driving it? Was he driving it? Was it somebody else driving it?
That is true.
But here's the thing: when the cops are actively looking for you, okay, all right, they're not looking for his girlfriend, wife, or any of it. They're looking for him. Now, maybe he can shed the light on who has the vehicle if it wasn't him, but they're looking for him, and they're looking for him for good reason. Obviously, the vehicle involved with the accident was his, so he at least has that somewhat of a connection to what's going on.
But the police haven't said that they actually have him in custody. They even talked to him.
He has not been in custody. I'm looking at the report here. They were looking at the jail and who's been brought in, and as of 6:20 this morning, he was not in custody and or in jail. So something to kind of
honestly, we don't know if he was even at the wreck at all. We don't know if he was even in it. We know his car was, but we don't know if he was. So I mean, again, a lot of times these players, you kind of fool themselves. I got a rental, I got a car I'm leasing. If you want to drive it, go ahead. Then bad things happen, and unfortunately, their name's tied to it. I'm not taking up for the guy. Don't know who he is. I'm not even sure what his first name is, because even Sonny, who thinks he's the biggest important cog of the Kansas City Chiefs, I can't remember his first name.
No, I didn't say the biggest. I said shut that. I said he was a cog and a big cog, not the most major. I mean, come on. Good Lord,
there's Patrick Mahomes, and there's this guy named Rice. I mean, go away here. But
I knew who he was. And listen, listen, if I know who you are, you've done something to gain my attention. I mean, now granted, he wasn't big in the Super Bowl. Okay, he caught 6 passes for 39 yards. But I'm talking about during the regular season and through the playoffs, he was a major player within that run. So knock it off.
Sonny, you probably know him because he went to SMU. That's why you know the name.
No, well, and that I do
Rasheed
know.
Rice.
Rashee Rice, yeah.
Rasheed Rice, yeah.
So, but I now we may be completely off on the left field here. Maybe someone else driving because right now we just don't know a lot. We
That's
don't
what I
know
said, so.
anything. We don't know anything right now. So it'll be really interesting to see what ends up happening. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're on only for a couple hours. I got to go get my daughter for Easter dinner, so we got to drive to Denton and back. So that's the reason why we're only 2 hours on there. Now, Cuervo, you made mention of it, and I appreciate it. And Caleb Williams obviously is in the news. All right, he's been one that people are talking about as far as this week. And I had this a couple of weeks ago. All right, now again, realizing who said what is being said here, the rumor that he's expecting to wear 13 and he doesn't want anybody to have 1 or 3 at all. This was going now. Listen, Skip Bayless sometimes, okay, not sometimes, a lot of times just talks out of the side of his mouth. But if he's getting reports of this, it's not something that's coming from him. He says that this is coming from a source that he has, and I believe him when he says that. So that having been said, that is portion of that. What is your take on what's going on as far as your future number one pick, Caleb Williams, or do you maybe think that the Dallas or the Chicago Bears might be looking at another quarterback prospect to take with that number one pick because of all the things that are being reported on him? Or what's your take really in reality?
I wish Bryce was here because I got some things to say to him. But since we're on the subject now, first of all, it is 99.9% in they might as well just draw the card up now. The Bears
are conclusion is what you're saying.
The Bears are drafting Caleb Williams number 1. No ifs, fans, or buts. I'm tired of hearing about, well, they might trade number 1 down, to look at Drake May or Jaden Daniels. No. That none of that is happening. They're taking Caleb.
Okay.
Whether people want to come to the realization or not, Bears fans.
Look at that look on Sonny's face.
The guys that can't let go of Justin Fields because they act like he was, Tom Brady or something. Like, let it go, guys. Let it go. He's gone. He's gone. It's time to move on.
Yeah,
Caleb is coming.
Former Bear.
His fingernail.
You can now say former Bear.
No, he's a Steeler now. He's a Steeler. Yep. So
guys, you know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the first week we do this show during the season, and Cuervo gets on his high horse and talks about how it's our damn time now. We got the quarterback of the future. This is where it's all going. Yeah, I mean, the passion you threw out there opening week last week is not lost on me at all, sir. And I mean, look, I most like what Sonny would say. I don't trust what Caleb Williams is going to do this first year. As far as Sonny's concerned, he'll be a bust his first year. But again, what does it take for him to not to be a bust in his first year, Sonny? What does it take for Caleb Williams to show you that he's not a bust? Does he have to do what C.J. Stroud did?
Well, he's got to be pretty much up there because you're right. I don't hold a lot of value to first year quarterbacks. Not too many people do it. I've got the proof of it, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. I mean, but you really only had two last year. You had Mr. Irrelevant and CJ Stroud. All the other quarterbacks, even the big touted or even the smaller ones, oh, we got so much great hope. Didn't do jack shit in the NFL in 2023. Okay, there were what 9 quarterbacks, or actually mark that 11 that were taken that I know of. All right, so out of the 11, only 2, had good seasons in reality. All right, now that is that's very promising for rookie quarterbacks. You got two out of an 11 that were picked up. All right, but at the same, and some of them didn't even play. So the ones that didn't even play, when they do their first year, they're going to suck too. So they're still rookies until they hit the field on a regular basis. What does he do? I'm going to tell you what he needs to do. All right, he needs to at least win as many games as the former Bear quarterback. If he does that, I can say that he didn't suck. Okay, I can say he didn't suck. But I'm telling you right now, when it comes to rookie quarterbacks, they basically suck. So I mean, Cuervo, what is your realistic look? If they take Caleb Williams, are you expecting them to make the playoffs their first year? Are you expecting them to do what Justin Fields did last year as a rookie quarterback? What are your expectations for Caleb Williams?
Do I expect him to do what Justin Fields did last year? The former Bear quarterback, he who shall not be named, right? Since we're just going to call him former Bear quarterback.
Former Bear Justin Fields. I'm putting that in front of me for you.
He who shall not be named. Listen, not only do I think he'll do what Fields did last year, he'll do better than what Fields did last year. And we have a special guest, guys.
I see that. Smokey. Who is that?
Smokey. This is Smokey.
Is he new? I haven't seen him before.
Same pup. The other picture, that snapshot you had when he was jumping on my back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was who. Wow, he's got big.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's a big boy now.
Now that's the picture that we had before with the dog roll and all of it.
Yeah.
So you expect Caleb Williams to do what Justin Fields did last year. Is that what you said?
And more. And more.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're going to go 17-0. I'm not saying they're going to be the next greatest show on turf. But I do think he's going to have a better season than Justin Fields ever had in Chicago, as far as statistically. I do expect that.
Okay. I can get that part because of the passing mechanism of what he done. I don't think he's gonna hold up to the running aspect of what Justin Fields did. But passing, yeah, I can maybe see that being an improvement as far as the quarterback is concerned in Chicago. Go ahead, Papa.
But because in your logic, Sonny, right? Back me up on this, Trey. That's what a quarterback does. They sit in the pocket.
That's exactly. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So he is more of a passer than Justin Fields. He is. He's more of a pocket passer than Fields. Now Caleb can run if he wants to, and if I remember right, Trey, are you not an Oklahoma Sooner fan? I'm sure you remember Caleb in his.
I'm not a Sooner fan. No,
you're not a Sooner fan. Okay.
I don't think he's a college fan at all. Really?
No. I love college football. I don't have a team that I'm aligned with. I came back. I was born in Texas. You would think I'd be a big Longhorn fan or an A&M fan. Not even close. In fact, I build on UT.
I'm more of a Horned Frog fan, and I am too.
I prefer TCU over everybody else. Really, I lost any love I had for the UT when Mac Brown set Major Applewhite in place of Chris Sims. So I mean that's how far my hatred for him goes. But no, as far as the Bears. That player that says not be named is not the only reason that team got a first-round draft choice. Okay, other things fell apart on that team to get them to where they're at. Now, is one player going to fix all that? No. There's a lot that needs to be changed and added and everything else. Now, they added a lot in free agency. Will it work? I don't know, because free agency is a crapshoot. Like I said, Dallas doesn't spend money on free agency because they've had the Gerald McCoys who couldn't make it to August. So, clearly there is a lot of needs the Bears need besides quarterback, but they need a solid quarterback to get them at least get people talking about it. Caleb Williams, maybe in 3 years, maybe he'll be, in line of what Jordan Love is right now. But Jordan Love is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but Jordan Love took him. He's what, year 4 now? Year 5?
He's about to go into year
4. Hell, he didn't even see
Yeah.
the field. I mean,
Right.
This is his first year of taking over the reins.
But so Jordan Love has that luxury of not being beat up just yet. Okay, and now he's being thrown to the fire now. But let's face it, he came out, got to the playoffs, and did his thing. So I know it hurts everybody here, including me. But Caleb Williams, is he a good start for the Bears? Sure. He's not the end-all be-all. And I think gauging how many wins and losses he has in his first year compared to his predecessor may not be entirely fair. Now, he's got to put the Bears in a better light than Justin Fields did. That's for damn
Absolutely.
sure. And
I agree with you.
And he has to sell them on hope. Kind of like what Jerry does with the Cowboys. He has to sell them on hope for next year and the year after that. Kind of what C.J. Stroud did for Houston right now. People in Houston are buzzing about him because he's their guy. He is. They haven't had a quarterback like that since Steve McNair.
Right.
So and God rest his soul. So I mean, it's just one of those things to where, you get out there your rookie year. Now, how the Sonny chart is located on that is a whole different story. The realization is not every rookie quarterback goes to the Super Bowl. Hell, none of them really do it. I mean, 9 out of 10 times, 99% of the time, the rookie quarterback takes about 2 or 3 years to progress. Look at Troy Aikman back in the day. That first year, he sucked. That second year, he got better. That third year, he was impressive. That fourth year,
absolutely.
There you go. So
that's all I was ever saying, by the way, about rookie quarterbacks. They're rookies. They're not going to. It's just a reality. Sometimes you just got to suck up what reality is going to bring to you. When you're a rookie, you suck.
You put that negative slant on so bad that that every player who listens to this show, they sit and go, "Man, Sonny thinks we suck, man. We're not going to make it anywhere in this league." You know what? The NIL has changed. The loyalty and all that stuff about these players. So the NIL has been more of a detriment to these college players than anything else. Yeah, they get to take more money and go other places. And I understand why they do it. I mean, why you're getting beat up in college for free.
Yeah, I was going to say, loyalty in the NFL has already disappeared because
there's no such thing. Come on, let's get honest. In the last 30 years, there's no such thing.
It's all about the Benjamins. So and
absolutely.
Go ahead, Trey. My bad. I cut him off, but go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, but here's the thing. Then there's those players like Emmitt Smith. He didn't go to the Arizona Cardinals for money. He went because he wasn't done yet. Same thing with Joe Montana. He went to the Chiefs because he wasn't done yet.
Yeah. So real quick, Trey. So then does that kind of bring up, on the flip side, what about teams' loyalties to players as opposed to players' loyalties to teams? Because once a franchise says, "Yeah, this guy's washed. He ain't no good to us no more," what do? They just show him the door, like, "Hey, thanks for everything."
Well, okay, like you said, you're right. It is all about the Benjamins. And the other way, though, is the owners are sitting there going, it's all about the owners sitting there going, "Yeah, you were great, but I don't see myself paying you this much when, I get the full-time player out of you that I had back in the day." And at that point, it's a business decision. And you always say the NFL is a business. And the thing is, I'm trying to think of what's reliable here, but I'm sure there are players on the Jaguars that Sonny can look at and go, "Great player, I know. I'm just saying. That there's players on the Jacksonville Jaguars team that Sonny can look at and go, God, I love that guy. That guy's fantastic. But I wouldn't pay him that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But come on, that's what we do. But
We all do it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we all do it. But here's the case in the Jaguars. They suck right now. I just said it. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the Jaguars suck because they cannot get their stuff together to put together. They got a lot of paper, and we talk about this a lot, Cuervo, right? You got paper all day long, but if you don't have chemistry, you don't have a football team, and your team sucks. Until they and by the way, there's still a lot of things the Jaguars need to do to get better. And we're going to see if they address them in the correct way, at least in the Sonny Clark correct way, when it comes to the draft. All right, so when you start talking about guys like rookie quarterbacks and what they can do, this is just a part of like what you said. I'll give you credit, Trey. That's just one cog, but it happens to be the most important cog out there. And say whatever you want about a lot of things, but when you're looking at a Caleb Williams, you're looking at Caleb Williams in a couple different ways. It's not what he can bring to you on your football team, okay? All right, because if you believe what is being written about him and how great he is, then it's about your investment to the guy and how much that you can get by and be able to pay him. We are gone past the days where even the rookie quarterbacks are out there and only getting paid a little bit. Now they're getting these monster, signing bonuses and things of that sort. So it can't go back to the days when they stopped after Sam Bradford and said, you guys are not going to make a lot of money. Now these guys are demanding that money. And when you were talking about respect, Cuervo, the guy that started that as far as players against the football team was one Terrell Owens who said, listen, I'm not coming back until I get paid what I think I'm worth. Okay, he fought back. He's the first one. We were on air when he started doing that, Cuervo. And I said at the time for Terrell Owens to do that was the right thing to do for him. And I don't think I've changed my opinion about that as far as a player going against a owner or a team. But I do have a problem with rookies, first year, third years, making a lot of demands on an NFL football team before they proved anything out on the football field. But then again, I was brought up in prove it until you make your money in the NFL. That's what they used to do.
Well, then let me ask you a question. Let's say the end of the season happens, and here's Dak Prescott, free agent. He can test the waters. He can come back to the Cowboys. And Jerry Jones is sitting there going, all right, now, I think you're worth maybe $55 million. I know you think you're 60. So does he go test the free agency market for that $5 million extra? Or does he just sit there and just go, okay, you're right. I haven't done a whole lot, so maybe I just maybe knock out $5 million off my asking price and then do this. Again, everybody's going to go to the highest bidder. If the Jacksonville Jaguars offered him $60 million, I know they won't, but if they offered him $60 million, he either take that or stay in Dallas for 52. What does he do? It ain't about loyalty at that point. It's all about the extra X amount of money that they're going to get to pay everybody else they got on their Because remember, every NFL player is a brand. They're their own brand. They got a sports agent. They got television deals with certain we call it sponsors, whatever. I mean, dude. What is he supposed to do?
Whatever makes him happy, I guess. But and there are exceptions. There are exceptions to guys that they'll take a lesser deal if it means being on a competitive team. And normally those are guys that are a little bit older and they know that they're really not going to make what they used to make, so they just take veteran deal. Like Russell Wilson. I think him going to Pittsburgh, he knew that was going to be the best situation for him. And what's he going to make this year? $1.2 million. Instead of going somewhere, they would have paid him $5, $8 million, maybe even $10 million. But he's good either way because Denver's paying him $37 million this year.
Yeah. He's got his money.
Yeah, he ain't worried about paychecks coming in. They're coming. You know, even if it's got the Denver Broncos signature on it, he don't care. By the way, Sonny, I've been meaning to send you a clip of that, a live version of that song. If you
I would like that. If you got that, send it.
It's because
I'll put that in. I mean, I got the video form of it as well, but I would love to have that up there. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I that's my thought was when the song came on at the concert, I was like, I got to get this live so we can use it for the show. So that'd be pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, listen, I want to go back a little bit to what you guys were talking about with Caleb and
yeah.
Look, Sonny, it's just the way it works when it comes to number one picks and all that. It's expected to happen. They're supposed to suck because they're going to the worst team in the NFL. So you can't
exactly.
It's not always there's anomalies like a CJ Stroud and whatnot,
right.
That are going to happen where they turn wine into water into wine. But for the most part, the guys that are getting drafted number one, they're going to the worst team, except this year. And you can say what you want. You can poke all you want. That's fine. The Chicago Bears are not the worst team in the NFL. They're not. And so it's a different situation where Caleb is getting drafted to a team that's not considered the worst. You mean to tell me Arizona that the Arizona Cardinals are better? You mean to tell me that the Washington Commanders are better? The New York Giants are better?
Just the way you stated that. Just the way that you stated what you said just tore it. Hey. The way that you said it, that they're going to the best team, that was his words, right, Podfather? He said the best team, right?
No.
Mate.
See, that's what he gets for not listening. That's what he gets. Dig yourself out of the hole, Sonny. I'll wait. We'll wait.
No. So, and you got the list there. No, but the way that you made it sound like is that he was going to go to the better team. Now,
no.
I fully agree with what you said. I don't think the Bears are the worst. But let's be honest, that number one pick was not based upon last year. Okay, so you got to remember where that pick comes from. It wasn't because they were so bad last year. It was a couple of years ago when that ended up happening, which drew it to be the number one pick. So that's the reason why they got that pick. Okay,
I'm fully aware of that. I'm embarrassed. Okay. I fully know where the pick came from.
So I obviously don't think that he's going to the worst team because based upon when they got that pick. Now, if it was truly the number one pick because you were the worst freaking team in the NFL, then that's where that comes into play. But that's not the Chicago Bears. So obviously, I don't think the Chicago Bears are the worst team in the NFL. So I just thought it was funny, just kind of the way you made it sound like they're the best team maybe the best team for him to go to with this situation. Because let's be honest. I mean, if this was who was the worst team in the NFL last year? Was it the Giants?
Carolina.
That's right, Carolina. And they had the rookie quarterback.
The Jets were pretty bad too.
But your point was exactly right. And everybody just thinks I think everybody sucks. No. It was exactly what you said. They're going to the worst football team. How do you expect them to be good? You can't. They're on the worst freaking football team in the NFL normally when they do that. So when your team has that top, 6 picks, and you're picking a quarterback, how do you expect their quarterback to be good when they suck? He's going to suck by proxy. The team sucks.
Yes, Sonny. The point that I'm making, though, is you can't bash that guy, that rookie quarterback, and just say, well, he's going to suck. Of course he's going to suck.
Yes,
He's
you can. Yes,
of course
you
he's going to
can.
suck.
He's going to suck. Yes, you can.
Exactly.
Okay, he's going to suck. Okay, listen, I'm just going to say it. CJ Stroud is not going to suck because of what your GM has done for the last 3 years for this football team to put them in the position to get that number 1 pick. Now, if they were the Carolina Panthers that didn't, obviously they're going to stay with their guy for a couple of years. Okay. But if you're the worst team in the NFL, how would you expect a Caleb Williams to go over to the Panthers and be a good quarterback? He's going to suck. He sucks
Right.
until he gets the opportunity to get on a better team. That's all I've ever said. Yes, I got the Jewish in me. I use my hands to talk. But anyway, that's all I ever said about rookie quarterbacks. The reason why I don't like rookie quarterbacks is because it's their first year, and it's twofold. Number one,
how are you going to hold that against them, Sonny? That's my point. How are you going to hold that against them?
It's because they don't have knowledge of the NFL game. You say whatever you want.
They're rookies.
Exactly. So they're not going to.
Am I missing something?
I'm not. Now, all rookies, I'm not going to say all rookies will never get better. I'm just saying in their first 2 to 3 years, I don't expect a lot from them because they suck. Because first of all, they don't know the scheme. They don't know the schemes of the NFL.
So anybody that wins Rookie of the Year pretty much is lucked into a good situation.
You guys are just missing the point. Because, first of all, they don't know NFL schemes. Second of all, they have no clue how fast the NFL is. Okay, that's the reason why you see most. I don't remember the stat.
Rookie camps. This is why they do mini camps. This is why they do training camp to learn all that crap. That's why
Mr. Podfather, as wonderful and bright as you are, if you honestly think training camp is going to help a rookie quarterback, to be ready for week number 1 of the NFL, I want to know what you're smoking. Can you pass that over to me? Because it's not even close.
First of all, look, we have 2 other pressing matters besides Caleb Williams, okay? First of all, where the hell is my damn plaque for this last year?
I told you I'll get that when I get it to you, and I told you that's number 1.
Okay,
can we have this discussion 2 weeks ago?
That was so 2 weeks ago. I mean, that's before more free agencies. Left to go other places. The other one is
make your next point.
When you bet a beer, we got up to your bet. You have a bet that you do.
And I told you I will do that, but I also got it. And I'll respect for you in the bet. I want to make sure that I'm on 4 weeks in a row. So that is out of respect for the bet. But do you have anything to say about what I just said?
Look,
of course not. You're of course not.
I will clear it up to me, asshole. Yeah, but no, but look. I mean, the thing is, though, is that you're gonna be an asshole. I want to call you that. But look, here's the thing.
I know that's why I like you.
There are quarterbacks that have won Rookie of the Year, by the way, because they've impressed the NFL big long enough to know this guy's going to be a player. Now, is it based on the teams? Does a rookie quarterback suck based on the team's wins and losses, or does it matter if the quarterback? I mean, if the quarterback throws for say 20 touchdowns and maybe 4 interceptions, but they lose. Is that on the quarterback or is that on the team that lost? The team.
I know I'm smarter than that son.
The team that had other glaring holes, they only addressed one of them. They couldn't address all of them. So which is it?
Wait. So your question, Trey,
right, correct.
If they throw for how many touchdowns?
20 touchdowns and have 4 interceptions.
For a season. That's not bad.
No, but let's say they are 3-14. God, I can't remember. They got 17 games now. They're 3-14, but they have a really solid quarterback season, but they didn't win. Does that go in now? Are they deemed a bust because of the team record, or are they deemed a bust because because
Yes.
that's where I'm lost.
It's I would think most people would see it as it's a uh not a
Correlation of
down
it
year,
all.
but kind of like a he didn't do that great, because the first thing people look at is the wins and losses, and then you go to stats.
But a lot of times those losses also are based on not so much the quarterback, but the defense that gave up X amount of points.
Well, that's the other part, right? It's like if the defense is terrible and they're giving up 35 points a game, like that's not the quarterback's fault.
Now, if the quarterback's throwing, say, 3 touchdowns a game, he puts up the offense was up 4 or 28 points, whatever. But then the defense is up 35 points. You sit there and say, "Well, that quarterback's a bust because he's not doing it."
Well, no, I mean you got to look at it from both sides, right? I mean,
and I think Sonny looks at the wins and losses more than anything, and he goes, "Hey, look, that team went 3-14, so clearly he's a bust." I'm like, well, but what did he do personally? I mean, did the NFL look at him and go, "You know what? That guy's in the rookie of the year quarterback standings. Yeah, he's not on a great team, but he's a good quarterback."
So okay, I think a good example, Trey, because I know where you're going with it. Let's look at, and we don't have to look up the exact numbers right now, but let's just go back in time in our minds, and let's think about Justin Herbert in his rookie season. Kid was lighting it up, right? We remember it was just 2-3 years ago when Herbert was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
How did the Chargers do that year? I mean, they
were subpar team, weren't they?
He had a great season, except the defense folded when it mattered most, just like it still does, and that's why they went in the different direction at head coach. But I mean,
a year too late.
You look at Herbert's numbers, and you're like, okay, this is a quarterback. This is a playoff quarterback, right? They make the playoffs, right? Not exactly. It's one playoff game so far in Justin Herbert's career. But you look at his numbers, and you would think to yourself, okay, this guy's one of the top in the AFC. Chargers are probably a playoff contender.
And he started his rookie year, right? So
yeah,
it wasn't like he was in the league for a year or two, and all of a sudden, okay, now he's our quarterback. He's going to turn it on. It took him a while. It took that process for him to learn NFL schemes, learn what other teams were throwing at him, and he was still putting up the numbers. Just unfortunately, the other side of the ball wasn't doing their part. So he's not a bust. But then again, you got to look this way: him and the quarterback for the Bills were both propped up very high by everybody, and they still haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then the other question is, are they deemed a bust because they can't go past that next level, or are they deemed a bust because great numbers regular season, as we all learned, regular season didn't mean shit. But regular season only means we'll get you to the final, to the next part, but it doesn't really mean anything because once the Cowboys can go 17-0, but they can lose, be 0-1 in the playoffs and don't matter. So then are we looking at the rookie quarterback as they're a bust because they're not making the team win big? Or are they a bust because, they're out there scrambling around all over the place because they can't figure out the schemes? Which is it?
Well, first of all, no rookie, in my opinion, when they first come out, is a bust. Okay. All I'm saying, it's a learning process. Now, Justin Herbert had a great first season. Okay. Just like CJ Stroud. Those are few and far between. I'm just telling you. Okay. They're quarterbacks drafted each and every year. You only usually get 1 or 2 that are worth of shit. Okay. Let's just be honest about it instead of stroking these guys' egos all day long. Okay. All right. You're only going to have a few that are going to be worth of shit. Justin Herbert Herbert. Yeah. Justin Herbert was one of them. 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 10 touchdowns. Okay. Or interception. This guy's a superstar. CJ Stroud, another one. But when you go through the list, and I'm just going to bring the list up, let's go back to the 2023 draft. You had CJ Stroud, okay? All right. But the guy that got drafted number one, Bryce Young, he sucked. Let's just be honest. Are we just going to stroke his ego? No, he sucked. And listen, it's because it takes time to learn the NFL. That's why they suck. All right. The next quarterback, that the third quarterback that was taken was Anthony Richardson. Did he sucked because of injuries? Okay. All right. So we can't really put it on there. See, he's not a bust. I'm not even saying Bryce Young's a bust. I'm just saying the first year he sucked. It's just what it is. The next
Did he suck or was it just
taken in the
unfortunate?
NFL. Hold on. The next
Yeah.
quarterback that has been taken into the NFL on last year. Gosh, I gotta go down. It looks like it was Will Levis. So and Will Levis was in the second round. We didn't expect a lot from Will Levis, did you? I mean, yeah. When I say suck, I probably should say I'm just saying for theatrics. I guess they're just not going to play well. Okay, they're not going to be the superstar the first year. It doesn't work that way in the NFL. It never has and never will. Now, that being said, take a trip back to 2022. Okay, as far as the guys that are there, let me hit the button and get there. 2022. All right, 2022. All right, there wasn't even a quarterback taken in the first round until Kenny Pickett, number 20.
Yeah, we know where that is. Yeah.
Okay, so listen,
He's on a different team now.
that was 2022. Yeah, so 21. 2022. Now they didn't even take a quarterback, so even the expectations of the teams in the NFL weren't expecting very much, or they would have went out and grabbed the next big thing, number one picks, and they didn't even take a quarterback. Everybody was looking at him as they are not going to play well. That's all I mean. They suck. They're just not going to have an impact. There are only so many Justin Herberts, only so many CJ Strouds that are out there. And nowadays, Cuervo, and I'm going to ask you this, they're putting so much emphasis on these guys coming out of college. I think the expectations of what NFL teams and or fans feel about their guy that are just too high. And if you get a CJ Stroud and if you get a Justin Herbert, you got to thank your lucky stars that you got it. But out of the 30 that are going to be drafted, you're only going to get 2 that are worth a shit in their first year. That's all I'm ever saying. And I don't know what 1 or 2 it's going to be in this year's draft. But the rest of them are going to suck. Either they suck or they don't see the field or things like that. So that's just kind of what I mean by I'm not impressed by Caleb or any of them coming out until they prove me wrong. That's what I'm saying. Prove Sonny Clark wrong that you're worth a shit in your first year, and I'll say you're worth it. That's what I said about CJ Stroud. That guy's a stud. CJ Herbert, that guy's a stud. So there's only so many studs that are going to be really coming out of college that are going to be worth a shit in their first year. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of doing your research, doing your homework to see who you feel not only will translate good to the NFL, but will translate good to your team, and
Right.
who's going to be the best fit. And I look. My thing is, as a Bear fan, I trust Ryan Poles 100% because a lot of people forget where he came from, and I haven't forgotten where he came from. But for those that need a reminder, real quick, before he took the job as GM of the Bears, he was the director of scouting for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think he knows a thing or two about scouting quarterbacks, evaluating talent, and because he's no GM is perfect, right? I mean, a good GM will hit on 60 to 70% of their moves, whether it's a trade, whether it's a free agent, whether it's a draft pick. They'll hit on about 60 to 70%. And that's where he's at right now. So I think that I'm not even talking about what the Bears are going to do at number 1. And a lot of people in Chicago ain't even talking about it. It's about that number 9 pick, their actual pick that they earned from going 7-10. What are they going to do with that pick? Because as of right now, because of the moves they've made, they only have 4 draft picks right now. So the question is, it's not there. Then and before I'm just going to squash it out. The Bears are not moving up to get Marvin Harrison. Can we please stop talking about that? It's not happening. They're not trading up to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. because a lot of people seem to think that that might happen, and it's not going to happen. If anything, they're going to either stay at 9 or they're going to trade down to get more picks.
Right.
And so that's the more intriguing thing with the Bears right now, in my opinion, is what do they do at number 9? Because number 1, I'm telling you right now, it's already a done deal. The card is already penciled in. All right, but they can't make it official until next month. But what do they do at 9? Do they, and I think it all depends on who is still available.
Yeah, who falls that way? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Because
how many times have we seen those quarterbacks who are so touted slide into the second round? You see them crying at the table at that the live thing, or at least bitching about it, whether they're crying or not. But we see that.
Well, I mean, from day 1 to day 2, that's tens of millions of dollars we lost right there. So that's one of those deals where they were sold a bill of goods by their agent or whatever else.
Yep.
You're going to go, and all of a sudden. By the way, does a player keep their agent at that point, and or they keep with them? You go, okay.
No, they got agents. They got agents as soon as they're eligible to get one legally. But now I think they can have agents because of the new rules that were in place with the open NIL and stuff like that. I think. Well, that's a good question. We can find that out, but I think they can. I think they can have agents when they couldn't. By the way, just back to just really quick, what I was talking about. And this was the 2022 draft. The first one off the board was Kenny Pickett from the Steelers. Okay. The next one after that, it didn't even come until the 3rd round. It was Desmond Ridder. Okay. And then Willis for the Tennessee Titans. And then Matt Corral. And the 3rd round.
Willis is the one that you want to see a lot of things from, isn't he?
Right. Exactly. And then Zappy in the 4th round. All right. So can we just say that all those guys that we just mentioned sucked? And being honest about it.
Well, I mean, the first 2 names you mentioned, Sonny, they just got traded this past month to a different football team. So
they kind of suck
right there. And then Malik Willis is probably a 3rd stringer in Tennessee.
He is a 3rd stringer, yes, sir.
And Bailey Zappi is going to be a 3rd stringer as well because they brought Brissett back, the Patriots did, and they're probably going to draft somebody at number 3, whether it's May or McCarthy or whoever's going to be available. So he's going to be a 3rd stringer. Yeah, that was a terrible quarterback class. But that's the thing, though. It's not every year because I've heard people say, "Well, every year these NFL draft analysts say that there's a generational talent." I didn't hear anybody call Kenny Pickett generational talent, or
absolutely,
or Matt Corral, or who was the other name you mentioned, Desmond Ridder. None of those guys were anywhere near generational talent. So. Let's slow down with the every year somebody gets put that label put on them. That's not true.
What? You bet. Now think about this. Last year it was Bryce Young. I'm sorry, he sucked. Okay.
I don't even think anybody called him generational.
I don't think that.
Did anybody call him generational?
No.
I never did.
I'm more on the fact of who's good coming out of college and who's not. I don't. By the way. There's no such thing as a generational quarterback coming out as a rookie. I never believe it. I don't even care if it just Peyton. You get lucky on picking these guys who are quote unquote generational. They're not generational until they prove it. That's my theory. Last year, Bryce Young, number 1, not worth a crap. CJ Stroud was number 2. He was taken, and he's a stud. He's one that was good. Next one you go, Anthony Richardson. We talked about that. Where he's
that was more unfortunate than him sucking.
right,
Yeah,
and that's an injury, so we don't know where he is. So by injury, he sucked. Will Levis, he sucked. Then Henderson Hooker in the third round. That was the next one. Then a bunch of other names that people probably don't even know who they are. Now, hold on one more second, and then I'm going to go to the year before the one with Kenny Pickett, which would be the 2021 pick. Yeah. So let's see.
By the way, 2021 pick. Remember, a lot of those players didn't have college experience that last year because 2020 the world shut down.
So that's true too. It's a good point.
A lot of them are talking about the last time they played was 2 years ago.
Right. All right. So the year before that. Okay. This is
number one's I already know who it is.
2021 Trevor Lawrence. 2021 Trevor Lawrence was taken with the first pick. He sucked. I'm sorry, he did. Then Zach Wilson. Then Trey Lance. Then your boy Justin Fields. Then after that, Mac Jones. Then Mac Jones, and then let me see where the next one was taken. Wrong way. There we go. Wrong way. Come back here. There we go. All right. So then it was Kyle. Tampa Bay took Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, then Davis Mills from the Houston Texans. Listen, these guys had bad first years. They sucked. And then Ian Book, I don't even think he plays anymore. Sam Elger with the Colts. They were expecting him to be good, and he wasn't worth a crap either. So, and that's the year before.
I don't know about that.
One more. Right. Hold on. And
guys that get drafted that late, they're expected to be backups. They're third picks for a reason.
Yes.
And let me just get lucky and you hit on a guy like a Mr. Irrelevant. It just
Exactly. Now
Niners got
you got Joe Burrow the year before that. Joe Burrow, he's good. Tua, his first year, let's just be honest, because he came in, he wasn't all that great. Justin Herbert.
Burrow's kind of unfortunate too because of his injury situation as well. So
that's true too. So, but all right. So then,
see, I think if you take the word suck, listen, I think if you take the word suck out of your vocabulary and make it unfortunate, it's a better situation because a lot of these rookie quarterbacks are going to be unfortunate the first couple of years. Because
exactly. That's all I ever mean by that.
But saying they suck is kind of like that deflating word that that makes them kind of go, well, shit. No, I just suck.
I don't care about their feelings. Okay, I don't care about that. They're NFL football players. Their feelings mean jack shit.
It's not, but it's not about feelings, Sonny. It's about just knowing the difference between a guy sucked or the guy had unfortunate injury or that the guy did he did okay or he was badass, whatever. I mean, just knowing how to identify how the season went. Like for Richardson, he didn't suck. He just, shitty luck because he got hurt. Joe Burrow, shitty luck his rookie year because he got hurt. Like, and then what did he do the following year? You know what I mean? So it's
tomatoes, but there's more in the fact that and I've said it on the show 1,000 times. I don't care about rookie quarterbacks. They don't mean anything to me when I'm looking at what's going on, except whether or not that they're going to be good enough to win in week 5 and who I'm picking on that. So, but yeah, okay. They're not going to. All right, I will change my words to make everybody feel better. They're just not going to be good. Okay, regardless of what the reason is, they're just not going to be good, and they're irrelevant to me. And this is my opinion. I know everybody wants to fall in love with their quarterbacks and think that they're the next best thing since fruit punch, but I am never impressed until I see it. So I'm not impressed with Caleb Williams, who's going to come out. I'm not impressed with any of the names that are going to come out until I see how they adapt to the NFL. And if they adapt quick, like a CJ Stroud, I'm going to give them all the credit in the world until they get 2 or 3 years up underneath their belt, they're not going to be good quarterbacks. It's just a fact. If you take a look at the numbers, I'm just trying to be financially
Hey,
or not
Cuervo,
financial, but
what happens when CJ Stroud hits a sophomore slump?
what?
Listen,
And
that
then
could
then
happen.
they
It could
even have
happen.
a title
Yeah,
for it,
good.
a sophomore slump, and then they got a title for it. So you get what I'm talking about. So,
I
but
mean, okay, you know how you spent all this time putting together a new graphic for me for I'm just saying. You need to do a
yeah,
video one of like lightning happening and say the sports narcissist has spoken. And just go with that.
that's right for me, right?
Of course, because I wouldn't deem to be a narcissist.
Okay, really quick before we get off of the Chicago Bears, okay? Because we're talking Caleb Williams, just really quick, really question, just true. I mean, all the things and I'm going to say this in support of your boy. You ready? Because I know I have a habit of people saying you just say bad shit. I think reporters right now are grasping for a lot of things to try to push this guy down. What was it? I guess he painted his fingernails and put lipstick on or something, I guess, and they're trying to listen. I
Who
knew
hasn't
about
done
that
that?
as far as young people doing that. I don't care about that. And the media is trying to make that a really, a reflection on kind of who he is and what he's all about. And frankly, I don't get it. I guess I understand young people a little bit better than some of the reporters that are reporting on this, because that was big news this last week.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, Trey, because I got some thoughts on that too. But if you want to go first,
No, I'm good. You go ahead, sir.
okay. All right. So I'm actually surprised by Sonny's take on that. I really thought Sonny was going to be like a lot of these, people on social media that are like, oh, well, I'm starting to wonder about Caleb Williams, because he paints his nails.
I've heard that. Yeah,
he's got a pink phone and blah blah blah. Well, according to Caleb, your girl likes it too. So that was his response to it.
a great response,
you know
by the way.
And you know what? And I like that, because that really shows confidence in who he is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I fully agree.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care either. I really don't, because the thing is, if he's going to win games, that's all I care about. I don't care.
He can do a red, white, and blue as far as you can say, right? Red, white, and blue. Win me football games. You can put any colors that you want. What did Crash Davis say? Until you win in the show, you look at your shower shoes. You got mold on your shower shoes. Until you win, whatever it is, 20 in the show, then you can be colorful, is what he said. Until then, you're a slob. So it's kind of funny, about how that is. But really, if that guy goes out and wins football games, no one's going to care what he is going to be putting on. He can come in with pink hair if he has hair. I don't know if he's bald or not.
And I'm glad you said that, Sonny, because for all those, and I'm speaking to Bear fans here specifically, because the ones that are clowning Caleb Williams on all that stuff,
yes,
are the Justin Fields fans that are heartbroken because he got traded and they can't let it go and they can't move on. It's like they got divorced from their wife of 30 years, where they're just completely heartbroken and they just want to sit in their living room and eat ice cream all day, or drink until they pass out, whatever their preference is of being able to cope with the fact that Justin Fields got traded.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what they're doing right now, and they're in the corner and they're sobbing and they're in their fetal position and they can't stop crying because they're little.
Yeah.
What's the flag? What is the flag? Tell me what the flag
Well,
is.
no, I'm saying that they're throwing the flag because he got traded. They're
Look,
throwing the flag because he got traded.
I will say this. Think of all the rookie quarterbacks that come out in the draft, okay?
Okay.
Before they know the life of the NFL, this is what they are given at the college level. All the sports outlets are singing the praises. You have
Absolutely.
colleges are putting everything around that one player. Look at Bryce Young, prime example. The expectations of these players is so unreal that once they get drafted and move on to the next level, while job-wise they move on to the next level, that doesn't mean performance-wise they have, because they've been given all this stuff. Plus the fact that a lot of these quarterbacks, a lot of these star players who are going to be in the first pick in the draft are bowing out of the bowl games because they can't afford to get hurt. And that's agent driven. That's NIL driven. That is, that's everything. I mean, that's not the head coach coming to him and say, look, you need to sit this one out. I know it's a big bowl game, but you got to sit this one out because your future is really important. That coach is looking at and say, I need you here because you are my future right now. If you being a part of my team that's winning a bowl game keeps me employed. And players are getting away from that. So again, they're dealing with a different level of college athlete coming into the pros than what the three of us grew up with back in the day. And that's why I understand why Sonny has the whole this player sucks because ... It's more of the fact that, look, these players are given everything at the college level. So when they get absolutely nothing at the pro level, there's people like Sonny, not just Sonny in particular, people like Sonny go, aha, see, you're a bust. Well, again, they have to work their way up the ladder in the NFL like they did in college, because unless you're Chris Sims, nothing's ever given to you on a silver platter. But even with Chris Sims, I mean, hell, I mean, Chris Sims was named starting quarterback of Texas. He still hasn't won a big game yet. Okay, he couldn't beat OU to save his life, and damn sure couldn't get anywhere in the well, there were no playoffs back then, but any really big name bowl game. So, again, I feel bad for these players, only in the sense of, yes, they have the world handed to them. Is that on them, or is that on everybody else doing that to them? I mean, again,
the reality check.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny, if everybody came to your door and offered you every television deal, every sponsor, every this, every that, and you'd be dumb enough not to take it, right? So you take it, but let's say, okay, now here's kind of the main stage, and you kind of are just okay, or you're kind of below average. Then do all the sponsors sit there and go, oh, well, that's not what we bought it for, so let's give that back. No, you have to build that equity, and these players will build that equity as the years go on. Yes, that rookie season, is it all about them looking at reads on the defenses? Maybe. It's also how they handle the offense, how they get the offense, how they are a team leader in that huddle. And that's where you have to look at them. I look at Bryce Young and go, look, poor guy got his ass handed to him last year, but he hung in there. So does that make him a bust? Not really. But I will say this. I will say this. He's got year two. Don't worry about it. He's got year two right now to figure this shit out.
I'm chewing the words that you're throwing in my mouth. I'm chewing them up and I'm swallowing because I never said any of them were a bust. I just said they suck. By the way, let me ask Cuervo this because he probably knows it off the top of his head. How many games did Peyton Manning win in his first year?
3.
Okay.
And not only that, but he also had the record for a while for most interceptions by a rookie. I don't know if he still holds that record, but
I think he does. But are we all just going to say he didn't suck just because he's so freaking great? No, he sucked his first year. Troy Aikman, he won one frigging game. We going to say Troy Aikman sucked?
Actually, he didn't win. He was injured. That was a
No,
Steve
his
Walsh
first
one.
year.
That was a Steve Walsh one game against the Redskins.
There you go. I see. I
Yeah,
didn't even put that together.
His
There you
first
go.
ever NFL win came in 1990.
You think? Do you think I think Troy Aikman sucks?
I'm sure at that time you did.
No. Well, yeah, exactly. Well,
Oh, no, there you go. See,
before I
that's that.
developed my
Winner.
mind in
Thank you.
thinking that,
Thank
but
you,
yes, but
You're right.
but before my mind was thinking of that, yes. But that being said, if I had the brain that I had now, back then, I would say Troy Aikman sucked, and he did. Let's just be honest. That's all I'm ever saying. When we're talking about rookie quarterback, everybody's trying to blow smoke up these guys' asses as they're the next, like Cuervo was talking about, the next generational player or the next big thing. Okay, this is not wrestling. Okay, all right. You got to go out and you got to prove it. And when you can go out and prove it, then you can get the monikers. Until then, and frankly, it's almost every position. Never mind quarterback. It just has more to it because it's the number one spot on the football field.
You know what though, Sonny? I think there's a couple things that goes into it though. You know, everybody's got these expectations. And the people that expect every rookie quarterback to play like CJ Stroud did last year, it's unrealistic. You're not being real with yourself. You're not being real with yourself. But everybody wants to be the first one to be like, I told you so, because they're looking for that lightning in a bottle. And that's the world we live in now. Everybody wants to, as soon as something happens, what's the first thing? They go to social media. See, I told you that he was going to throw an interception there. See, I told you he was going to, be that guy. He was going to do this and he was going to say that. And I told you. It's the I told you world now. And everybody goes straight to social media. They want to be the first ones. You heard it here first. All this other nonsense, and you're not thinking logically. So
we have a breaking news sounder.
So
what
every
we
quarterback
do?
is expected. Every quarterback,
Sorry, I see what you're. I thought what we got breaking news.
Every rookie is expected to suck, guys, because you're learning the game. You're learning the speed of the game. You're learning a new playbook. You're learning a new offense. You're learning everything is new to you. And going back to what Trey was talking about, when it comes to when you're given everything in college, it's not. I don't know that is you're given everything. You've worked your way up to that. Guys like Caleb after he won the Heisman and all that stuff, and then you had Jaden Daniels last year who won the Heisman, and that's the only reason, to be honest, that he's moving up draft boards because of the fact that he won the Heisman Trophy last year.
Yep.
But the point is, you work your way up there, right? Now it's who's humble enough to, when they get to the NFL, they understand they got to start back at the bottom. Even if they are the number one pick, even if they are a first round guy, you're still starting from the bottom, and you got to work your way up. Even if you're going to be expected to be the starting quarterback, that doesn't mean you know everything. That doesn't mean you're going to be, Jalen Hurts right away or Patrick Mahomes right away. It's not going to happen. You got to put the work in, and that's how you separate the good from the great ones, or the ones that fizzle out, like a Jamarcus Russell who tried to pull a Bo Callahan, like in the movie Draft Day, where he says he watched all the or looked at the playbook, with the whole $100
great movie, by the way, great movie.
Yeah, and so he got tricked because the tapes were blank, and he's like, oh yeah, I watched all of them. Oh yeah, I know all this stuff now. Tapes were blank. There was nothing there. Mm-hmm. So the point is, guys like that don't put the work in, you're not going to get the results. It's not going to happen. But I think. Well,
speaking of that, Cuervo, remember who the number one pick was a few years back? Kyler Murray. Remember, Kyler Murray. Another example of having all the focus on him, and he sucks. And then the next one off of the board after him, Daniel Jones. Okay, then Dwayne Haskins. Okay, so there's a lot of Huh?
That's not fair. He died. I mean, he could have been he could have been good eventually.
Yeah. So I'm just so
It would have been.
everybody's expectations of rookie Cuervo, you said it just a little bit probably more diplomatic than I
But
did. Their expectations of these that folks are it's unrealistic to think that you're going to have a quarterback to go into the NFL and just kill it. It
but
just
you
doesn't
know what though?
happen.
But here's the other problem you also run into it in the NFL. A NFL team goes and they draft a first round draft choice quarterback, right? That quarterback is not necessarily accustomed to that offensive scheme because they are a different type of a player. Some teams that are smart base their offense on their quarterback's talent. Not look, this is our system. They better work this out, or else they're gone. Which, by the way, every NFL player out there is expendable. Until I know, so so in a way, it's almost kind of unfair to sit there and go, well, this person wasn't the best pickup because they didn't fit the offensive scheme that came in. I mean, sometimes a change of atmosphere, a change of scenery is a world of difference for those quarterbacks or for another player for that matter. So, and maybe I just have more of an issue with your term sucked. I mean, I look at Steve Pallor.
You're offended. You're offended. You'll get over it, though.
Look. I look at Steve Pallor. He sucked. Gary Huggaboom, he sucked. Trey Lance, currently, he does suck because we don't know much about him, but we'll know he'll never see the field right now. And the reason why. So, there are players out there that will never see the field to play because they got where they're at and they slid really bad and they digressed or regressed in their time in the league. That's the thing, though. I mean, this league changes so much. The rules change. I mean, we even talk about the rule changes now. The kickoff, what the XFL is now, and or wherever the XFL was.
Week one on Red Zone. The first 10 minutes is going to be amazing.
And then was it? The player can't be pulled. A player can't be pulled down by their hip anymore.
Yeah, the hip drop.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many changes going on now with this league. Some to protect the players, some that are questionable. But again, we sit on our couch and we're sitting there going, "They'll figure it out. They make millions of dollars. They'll figure it out." But some don't. Some don't, and that's where we wave the white flag on them and go, "That person sucks." I mean,
hey,
it's weird.
Sonny, real quick. Speaking of that change to the rule with the hip drop tackle, have you by chance reached out to? Oh God, I feel bad because I forget his name.
Tom?
Coach. No, not Tom McManus. The coach that we talked to, that we had on the show.
Okay, I want to tell you, Coach B, Coach Bramante.
Coach B. Uh-huh.
I was just with him literally Friday night and sat and talked to him for 4 hours. We didn't even talk about it. We talked about a lot of other things, but we did not talk about that. Now that being said,
how do you call yourself the hardest working man?
I will have him. I'll make it a point to try to get him on next week or the week after, so we can talk about that.
Yeah, I'd like to know his take on it as a coach. Does he think it's bad for the game, or is he cool with it? He doesn't care. You think it's stupid? Whatever. I just like to know what his thoughts are.
You bet. I'll get him either next week or the week after. And so we can talk about that.
What are y'all's thoughts on these rule changes? Since we're talking about it in a few minutes.
Me personally. First of all, the NFL is trying to get away from players pulling down other players. They want tackles, but they don't want to have like the horse collar is a pull down. The hip toss we call it a tackle, but it's really a pull down. They want to get away from that because of the injuries that are accumulating with all that. I understand it. Again, it's going to change. Once again, if you get caught with it, what is it, 15-yard penalty? Some teams can afford that.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to make it a really hard rule, then put suspensions in there. But they won't do that because the NFL players you
All
won't
right.
let that happen.
Go ahead. Hold on, Cuervo. Hold on. I think I got it. Go ahead. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know it's breaking news, guys, but there is an update on that Rashee Rice accident.
Mm-hmm.
Old Shefty just tweeted out. So he says that I'm gonna read it verbatim what he put out there. He says that a police spokeswoman told the Dallas Morning News that a driver in a Corvette and a driver in a Lamborghini were speeding. They both lost control of the vehicles, with the Lamborghini hitting the median wall and causing, quote, a chain reaction collision involving 4 other vehicles. So it sounded like they were doing some racing.
Street racing.
Yeah, they were just messing around racing.
And the worst freeway in the world is North-South Tollway to be doing that shit on anyway. I'm telling you. So I hate that friggin' freeway. So, so thanks for the update. I saw your face and I knew that's what that was. So I was trying to find the thing.
Now it doesn't mention anything about alcohol or anything like that. So maybe
Nope.
there was no alcohol involved. Nobody was.
I'm hoping for his sake.
But it just sounds like people just having fun speeding on the.
But we still know if it's that player though, right?
We still don't know if it was him in the vehicle, which is the one that was actually driving the vehicle. Like everybody says, it could have been somebody else driving the vehicle, and that's very true. Because a lot of time, maybe he was drunk and he said someone else driving. Then the person who was driving him home decided to be a jerk. So one of those things is.
Yeah, only thing we really know is that the 2 vehicles that caused this whole thing was a Corvette and a Lamborghini. We don't know any names. We just know the vehicles.
Yep. Take over for a second, guys. I'll be right back because I'm going to see if I'm going to extend or not because we're getting close to the top of the hour on the 2 hour. I might be, depending on what's going on, I might make it 3. So you guys
go ahead.
Will know I'm even gone, but I'll be hearing what you're saying, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Yeah, so no, go ahead, Trey. I know I cut you off. You were talking about 15-yard penalty and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a 15-yard penalty and maybe a possible fine. If you want to change the rules, suspend the player who does it. Suspend it for 3 games. But
for a hip drop tackle?
I'm just saying if you really want these rules to go into effect, it's where it's not just a penalty because teams can afford a 15-yard penalty. They can't afford to lose their player for three games though. So then you change the you change the league that way, but they won't do that because the NFL players you want that to happen. Because because you can accidentally pull someone down, you can accidentally grab a guy and also grab by the horse collar and bring him down, and you go shit. There's 3 games. That's the downfall of that. But if you want to change it and make sure it doesn't happen ever again and save players for injuries, yeah, you waive a suspension deal out there for them. Maybe a game, 3 at the most. If you're a repeat offender of that, then you definitely go up in that.
I don't know. I find I have a hard time with that because it's like it's going to take time for these guys to learn how to tackle without doing that. It's gonna take time. I mean, we could talk OTAs all we want. Like, how much time are you really going to spend?
Well, OTAs and OTAs aren't really full pads either. So I mean, you can't really teach them how to tackle that way.
Right. So I just think that to make the penalties and things like that harsh that quickly, I just don't know if that's the way to do it. If it's an egregious tackle and you want to eject them for the game, kind of like how they do targeting in college, then I get that. I get that. I don't know if you should fine them. I don't know if it goes more than a 1-game suspension, unless it's like a blatant.
I'm saying if they're serious about the rule, that's the circumstances they should go on. I'm just saying that if they're just gonna sit there and go, well, you can't do that 15-yard penalty. Okay. I mean, hell, how many pass interference calls are thrown out there when a guy has to give 30 yards on a throw? But okay,
You know,
they're not.
in my opinion, I think the horse collar is a more dangerous tackle than the hip drop. That's just me though. I don't know how you guys think, but I think if you're really going to crack down on a
I
tackle,
fully agree, Cuervo.
I think the horse collar is way more dangerous because you're talking about yanking somebody from the top all the way down. And
Yeah,
you can,
it just comes down to knees and legs and stuff like that, and that's where the pull down thing is so dangerous because like the horse collar tackle is the same. It basically is the same thing, just a bit higher. Again, I don't know if this is gonna be the best rule. You are playing the contact sport; you expect to get hurt regardless. So I mean, and if you're Tyron Smith, you expect to get hurt every play. But you know, I mean, it happens. You know, I'm actually more fascinated with the kickoff with the new kickoff rule.
I am too.
Because
I could care less about the hip drop stuff.
Because
I think
they said 22% of all kickoffs were returned last year, so they want to speed that up, right? So if they bring it to how the XFL had it, to where both teams are within 10 yards apart from each other, further down, but they can't get to the runner after the runner has already got caught the ball and started running. I mean, but then like the kicker is penalized a little bit if he kicks it in the end zone, if he kicks it out of bounds, or that was always still kind of the rule to begin with anyway. I mean, if you kick it out of bounds, it goes to the 40 or 35 or whatever the deal is. So I like the idea that this is somewhat innovative, and once again, this is just other football leagues, showing that look, there are other ways to do this and make it exciting. And the NFL there's no excitement on an NFL kickoff anymore. I mean, except for the music playing, the kick. Here comes the kick, and it goes right into the end zone.
Yeah,
ball's brought by the 25-yard line now. So
This
go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I want to see how it works. I want to see teams get information to run the ball back because you've got a year or two of not doing that now. So a lot of teams aren't used to that. They're used to saying, "All right, we'll go 25." So it'll be interesting to see what they put in place. They'll make the special teams coaches have to coach a little bit more, which would be great. So go ahead, guys.
Interestingly enough, I just wanted to make this point. Those two rules were put into effect, but the tush push wasn't banned. Interestingly enough, I'm telling you right now, there's injury opportunities on that play. But the fact is they do the tush push near the end zone. So guess what? It takes away from scoring. So they're going to keep that rule in. So just to throw that out there. Also, going back to it, if a guy gets behind you, that's it. They score a touchdown based upon the rule. Okay, so you're going to have to. If somebody gets behind you, you can't tackle them. You got to pull them down from behind. So that's going to be a problem. And you're going to see that in this. I'm telling you right now, I've watched it. I've seen it. If a guy gets behind you and the way you tackle from behind is that way. So forget about it. It's a 15-yard penalty. Now, that being said, I don't think they're going to throw fine you for doing it. I don't think that's going to be a part. It's going to be a 15-yard field goal, 15-yard penalty. But I might be wrong in that, whether or not they'll go back to it. Now the kickoff, it's just freaking ridiculous. Okay, so here's what I'm just going to say, and thanks to Brian Tarvin. Okay, I'm going to say this: the wussification of the NFL has taken away from the game. Okay, yes. It's taken away from the game, and I'm tired of it. I get it. You don't want your players hurt, and you're paying the players a lot of money. I get all that, but all the rule changes are taken away from the game. And by the way, 3/4 of them go against the defense because they want to see scoring. So it's not a fair field, offensively and defensively. It's just not fair. So they're taking the fairness away from the game, as well as the nuances that they're adding to the game are taken away from the way the game was intended to play. Now, granted, was some of it out of control? Yes, but J.J. Watts, okay, we all know who he is. he's even said this is, flag football. This is silly. It's nonsense. And I'm fully agree with it. Now, how much is that going to make a difference in the game? We're going to find out, especially after someone gets past someone. And we'll find out. We'll see how they tackle them. What's going to happen? Will there be you might have to get the flag and prevent a breakaway touchdown.
And our team's going to be, like Trey said, our team's going to be willing to take the penalty. If it stops a team from scoring, and you're like, all right, fine, half the distance to the goal, I don't care about that, and they find a way to either turn the ball over or stop them, then was it worth the penalty? Yeah, probably.
Exactly. Absolutely.
How many teams are going to be willing to do that, though? How many teams are going to be willing to take that penalty and say, you know what, F it, just tackle them?
The Cowboys have no problem with it. I know they're the most penalized team in the league, so, I mean, they got no problem with it.
So, yeah. But, the kickoff, so just to be clear on my opinion, I think it's stupid to get to ban the hip drop tackle or make it illegal, whatever. I think it's dumb because you got to have – you can't just be offense, all offense, and the defenses can't do anything to stop them. I think that's dumb. But the kickoff, I'm kind of cool. I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to play out. I think it's going to be kind of cool.
I mean, if it brings in more run backs, then I want to see that. I don't want to see the ball go through the end zone all the time.
I'm just not impressed. Maybe it's me, and that's get off my friggin' lawn. You're changing the rules. Get off my lawn. Anyway, by that's just me. But
that's funny for you.
Yeah, there you go. Hey,
get off my grass.
I just want to see authentic football instead of fake football. Going. All right, we were talking about this last week, 2 weeks ago. Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers are not even close in contract extensions, and the expectation is that the Nuke will hold out if the Niners trigger the 5th-year option. Here we go. It's getting into where players think they are and compared to what they and
he had a hell of a year last year.
Oh, he had a great year
last year. So
I think I agree with what he's doing. Partially agree. But at the I'm not necessarily you should. The only reason why I would say a player should honor his contract is if the NFL teams honored their contracts without doing the cutting for no reason and you don't get your money. That would be the only reason why I would say that I think players should be, loyal to the team. Outside of that, what Ayuk is doing, he's just looking at someone who's going to give him some more money. Because listen, that rookie contract and his quote unquote, his signing bonus or whatever they call it now, it wasn't as big as some of the other ones out there. He's looking for it because if the guy gets hurt, what's going to happen to him? Okay, he's not going to make any more money. So I get it and I understand it, and it makes sense. And especially if it's a guy that such as Ayuk, I think he deserves it.
Yep,
deserves. Okay, can you go back to that slide, Sonny? I want to read exactly what it says. It says not close. Okay, and the expectation is that Ayuk will hold out if the Niners trigger the 5th-year option. Okay,
right, because he was drafted in the first round. So since he was drafted in the first round, they get the 5th-year option.
Right, hold out, go right ahead, see how that's going to work for you. Because guess what, you're still under contract, right? And the longer you hold out, the longer the fines pile up. For not showing up to camps, whatever.
You know how these holdouts work out, though.
Yeah.
These players hold out. Nothing's really ever done to them. Then they come back before the season's ready to start. And
Chris Jones.
It's nothing.
Chris Jones last year.
Zeke Elliott. Same thing with him.
Zeke Elliott.
Yeah.
By the way, is it true that the Cowboys are looking at bringing him back?
They're talking about bringing
that's
him back.
That's what reports are going out. Yes, sir.
Wow, getting the band back together. Okay, hey, might as well.
Suck before. Okay, let's continue. Let's bring them back and continually suck.
Well, I mean, as I told Sonny, Dak and Zeke came into the league together. They're buddies. So if this is Dak's last year, I'm pretty sure he'd love to have Zeke back for one more with him.
And so,
Hey, make sure you get the Salvation Army, the floaty out there, whatever the blow up, the Salvation Army one where he jumps into Zeke Elliott.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Dak,
there's
that I saw this. I thought I'd throw it up. There's absolutely no GMs and coaches out there thinking if Dak Prescott was on my roster, we'd win a Super Bowl.
Again, I mean, there's a line form to the left. I mean, I threw it out there, but do owners say, well, you're 8 or 9 years in the league, you haven't really done anything. Are we going to pay you X amount of money you think you're worth? That's the big question.
Well, here's what's going to happen. I meant to tell you this when we were talking about it, but here's what's going to happen. Jerry's not going to extend shit. Okay? Mm-hmm. He's under friggin' contract right now.
Yeah.
And if he plays out of his mind, fantastic. He will run the risk of having to pay him later. Jerry Jones is not going to extend Dak Prescott. I don't, and I might be wrong, but I don't see it. I mean, he's not extending Mike McCarthy. Now, granted, we're talking two different things, but coach, player, but I don't see him doing it. I don't think he's going to extend him, because if he sucks, he's going to be, and he extends him, he's going to be on the hook for a lot of money. If he doesn't suck or doesn't meet up to his expectations, it's done and over with, and you don't care. So I think that's where Jerry Jones is going to be going on as far as Dak. I don't see him getting the extension, even though the number that we're hearing is close to $60 million if he's quote unquote extended. I don't think Jerry Jones is that stupid. But that being said, that's the case. Is Jerry Jones that stupid? He's
done dumber things. Okay, I mean,
yeah. In other words,
there's a chance.
I mean,
always a chance.
Anybody remember Greg Hardy? Anybody remember players like, I mean, let's face it, they're talking about a gentleman who wouldn't draft Randy Moss because of quote unquote off the field issues.
He still has nightmares over that.
He has to
this day. He probably had one last night.
see, I know at that time, I think Troy was still with the Cowboys at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I wonder how Troy felt about that. Like we never heard Troy's situation. Did he think Randy Moss would be the guy to bring in, or was he so big hell bent about off the field issues because he's dealt with that with Michael for so long? Did he not want that? I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. Go ahead, Sonny. You got
you got your assignment for next week. So there you go.
No. I haven't got time for this, sir. I'm up here across the Red River where it's cold as hell. So no.
Gotcha. All right. Some other news in the NFL. Jamar Chase. They haven't even been discussing extensions. So interestingly enough, where that's going to end up. The Bengals are. I'm telling you right now. If they do not get this guy, him and Joe Burrow, they were tight in college. They brought him together. They had success. If they don't give this guy the money or make this guy happy, that's going to be a problem in Cincinnati. But believe me, Cincinnati's not known for doing the right things at the right time anyway. So I suspect what they'll do is wait till the last minute to do whatever they're going to end up doing and go from there. So that's where we're at.
Hey, Sonny, I got a bell, so I got to get ready for work. But thanks for joining. Thanks for letting me join the show, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week from my end. All right.
You always got a seat here, Trey.
Yes, sir. That is, of course, if Sonny does a show next week.
I'm sorry.
That is basically if you do a show next week or not.
Well, I'm going to up yours. Listen. The one who doesn't show up mostly is this guy.
I can't talk.
But that's been understood for years. I'm just the first time I'm actually utilizing it.
Listen, I have a show called The Daily Grind, and even I don't make it on a daily basis. Okay, I understand 100%. So I mean,
thank you. So up yours anyway. All right, guys. I just got notification. I do need. I actually need to go. So because I got some things to do. Oh, there he goes. So he's gone. But it was always a pleasure. Good to see you, Cuervo. And we'll kick it up, and we'll be on next week. So as long as I'm feeling well, we'll always be on. If I'm not feeling well, I won't be. At least in the off season. So that's what we're on.
Tomorrow's April 1st, Sonny. It's time to start getting into draft mode. Start talking a lot of draft.
Don't fall for the April 1st things that'll be happening that'll be announced because of April Fool's Day. Don't fall for it because it happens every single year. All
right. You should be one to talk there, sir. About
I know I fall for it all the time. I'm just saying I'm going to be aware. I'm going to be a little bit better this year. So. So, all right, my man, you have yourself a good day. Always good to see you. We'll catch you next week, man. And everybody, thanks for joining us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. We're out of here, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. It didn't work.